Hey, this is Mark Henry, author of Dancing with Energy, Healing, Magic, and Mysticism. Also your favorite blonde sorcerer. Or at least I'd like to think so. Let's go ahead and get started. So the title for today's video is Imagination and Manifestation Through Magic. Before I begin, I just wanted to remind you that I'm offering attunements. And so if you want to level up your magic, improve your life, exert a greater force on your surroundings, then consider getting attunement from my attunement store. In fact, I just added a genius seduction to my attunement store. So if you are interested in increasing your attractiveness, your persuasion, and getting what you need from others, then consider getting that attunement. Alright, so let's talk about today's video. So today we're going to discuss suggestions for how to successfully use your imagination in your magic. In fact, there's just one principle. But let's go over some other principles of goals setting in magic as kind of rules of thumb. All right, so the first one that is commonly talked about is that goals should align with your values. So what are your values? Your values are what is important to you. So that being said, there are different ways that you can be out of alignment with your values, and the outcome of that is never good. But you can also do it with your magic when you set your goals, unfortunately. So one way to spot this is if you ever find yourself shoulding on your magic. So the word should. So when you say, well, I should do this for myself, or I should do this for my family. Now this may be very good advice, but at that point when I hear words like that, I hear, well, one, the person really doesn't want to do it. There might be some type of doubt about whether they can do it. Could be some procrastination involved. None of which really, in my opinion, has any place in magic, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to knock away all the resistance, and you don't want a big distance between yourself, your inner self, and your outcome. So shoulds, have tos, musts, all these types of things are not great starting points for when you're formulating your magical goals. All of that needs to be set aside. You need to, and look, I said it, you need to, so I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. However, I am offering the suggestion that try to make it, whatever your magic goal is, something that you really want and that you are incongruent with according to your values. The second thing, so that your magical goals should be reasonable and achievable. In other words, there are people that try to use magic to win the top prize of the Powerball or Mega Millions, Lotto, whatever. And because of the large probability of that happening, that isn't a very good magical goal. In fact, it'll leave you disappointed. You might not want to even try to use magic in low-level gambling, which might be profitable. It's just kind of a bad game in a way. I've heard somebody refer to it as a tax on the poor, which got me thinking. But anyway, that's another issue. All right, so they should be reasonable and achievable. So I've heard it said that when you're setting your goals, it should be just out of your reach. That would be something. And it needs to be something, when it's reasonable and achievable, that means it's also believable. And belief is really important. So just out of reach, and not way out in the land of improbability. So in fact, some people will have one big goal and they'll have small goals leading up to that regarding their magic, which are, so they'll have one goal is what they ultimately want, but they'll have a series of maybe 5 steps, small goals that they work towards in order to get there. So I believe that it's referred to as the big goal might be like the small goals might be like a micro enchantment, and the macro goal for, the overall will be like a macro enchantment for a lot of the things surrounding it and part of the larger goal. So something to think about. So how the principle about imagination and magic and manifestation. So the one thing that needs to be understood is that, and again, we're going to go over it again, goal must be alignment with your values, must be reasonable. And then the third one is going to be that they must be inspiring. So you have to kind of manage all those different types of things. What do I mean by inspiring? Is that it has to be motivating. It has to be something that you really, really want. Because there's another aspect to this, is that you need to keep going. You don't want to have a goal that is so bland and vanilla that you are kind of like, I don't know, maybe I want this, maybe I don't. That's not a good spot. So when you're looking at the topic of what you want, the goal, it has to be inspiring. It has to be sufficiently desirous to keep you working. The goal must be, ultimately give you some type of pleasure and satisfaction. You can even picture yourself, if you need more motivation, to be inspired about how you will feel after this has happened. So to kind of keep yourself in the game, to keep yourself working. So some people do this by imagining what they want as being in their mind, is having a big picture of, having, what will I be doing and experiencing when this happens, the pleasure? What will I be hearing? And maybe the sound is loud, the pictures are big, and everything is colorful and in motion. Those are the types of experiences that you want to have with your goal. And that is what's going to give you the energy to follow through, and the energy to add the extra energy to make it happen. So use your imagination the way it was designed. So keeping all that in mind, please subscribe and like. I will put a link in the description to the Etsy store, and if you want more videos, I have a Patreon. I'll put a link to that. In fact, sometimes I put the second part of some of these videos for those people who want more information. So if you want to be part of my inner circle, if you heard that, that was Frey in the background. So anyway, I should go see what she needs. And I will see you all in a future video. Take care.